So Splatoon 3 is absolutely an improvement over the second game, but that still doesn't quite mean it's perfect, because there are very, and I mean very few games that I think are truly perfect. Ask yourself, what would you rate Splatoon 3 out of 10? And be critical, think of every little detail. While I'm not quite sure how close Splatoon could get to being perfect, what are some things that could get this game as close as possible to perfection? I've got 3 main points to talk about in one little one, and if you agree with what I think, leave a like. Alright, let's go. Let's start with the most obvious change needed here. The goddamn netcode.
It's gonna disconnect me here at the end, right? See that? Damn, I called that. I got credit for none of that.
If you've played Splatoon and have never experienced a server issue, you're not playing Splatoon. This is what we get for $20 a year. But let's get specific. What is it that's bad about Splatoon's servers? Well, there are 2 main things. First, the tick rate is very slow. Tick rate is how often your console communicates with the game's servers. Here are tick rates for some other popular shooter games. Do you want to guess what Splatoon 3's tick rate is? 15 hertz. 15. If you've ever experienced dying from a charger shot or a blaster shot while behind a wall,
Why the f are we playing on this map? Can we talk about that for a second? Why are we playing in a custom zone, bro? I don't want to play this.
this is probably because of the low tick rate. But you're probably now thinking, why is it so low? Which leads directly into the second problem with the online services. There are no servers. Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar company that doesn't have dedicated servers for their online service. You are communicating directly with other systems, which is why servers tend to be so unreliable, because one person having a bad connection could result in the whole lobby being bad. This is also why disconnects are pretty common, because if one person has something go wrong, the whole lobby can fall apart. So in order to fix this, Nintendo, buy some damn servers. You have so much goddamn money, and you're just sitting on it, doing nothing with it. And once that's been done, increase the tick rate up significantly. Even Splatoon 1 had better tick rate than this game, and that game didn't even have as bad connection issues as Splatoon 2 and 3. Alright, next. Splatoon's weapon balance is for the most part pretty good. In fact, the biggest problem with it is that there are certain weapons that aren't good enough instead of being too good. Look at the undercover umbrella. It has the worst DPS in the game, and its kit doesn't really enable it to play how it should play. Same thing with something like Aerospray. It just has an alternative that does everything better. By buffing the lower tier weapons and making sure that nothing gets too overpowered, we can have a game that will have better options than others, but it won't be a super dominant meta. But funnily enough, the biggest reason as to why so many weapons are bad is because they just have awful kits. Nintendo just announced these 4 kits. 2 of them are fine, but the other 2 are kinda unfortunate, and this is mainly because of sub-weapon balance. Because anything that isn't a bomb is just not a very good sub. The Dapple kit is completely outclassed by Tetra, which is almost identical, and Inkbrush's kit isn't gonna benefit much from having Mine on it, although Stamp isn't half bad. On paper, the new Bucket kit would work great, since it does combo amazing with Marker, and it could work pretty well with Zipcaster comboing as well. But since Marker is so difficult to use and has such little reward for actually getting it direct, you're better off just using something with Burst Bomb. As for things getting too overpowered, it's simple. Very high tier special plus perfect kit equals broken weapon. This is why Splash is dominating the meta right now. Crab needs a nerf, although not much one, and since Splash paints extremely well, it can get it very fast, and Crab also works very well on it. This is the main reason why Kensa 52 Gal from Splatoon 2 was so good. Its kit made it nearly invincible if you knew how to play it correctly. To summarize here, buff all non-bombs, buff Reef Slider, and Nintendo, give some weapon kits that actually just make sense, please. And now let's move on to the thing that Nintendo just cannot seem to get right, map design. Splatoon 3 has good maps, but it also has bad ones, and they also took 2 previously good maps and made them bad. But what are some characteristics of a bad map? Well, the main things are little to no cover anywhere, and it also being narrow with few or only one entrance to mid. Hammerhead and Mahi fall into being too small and narrow, with Hammerhead having such easy choke points to hold. Spawn camping on it is awful, and since there's only really one entrance to mid, it's almost impossible to escape a spawn camp if your team is outclassed. A Mahi Mahi, on the other hand, is just too small before the water level drops, and the islands also are pretty much useless now. They don't really enable any entrance to mid. It's also worth mentioning that neither of these maps have that much cover, which is the main reason why weapons like E-Liter are being looked at as overpowered, especially on Mincemeat Metalworks, which has pretty much zero cover anywhere in mid. Your only option is to either drop down here or go on the left side, which doesn't work very well. If you're trying to attack, there is zero cover floor, and if you're on this bridge, you're exposed from quite literally every angle. Overall, most maps need to just have more entrances to mid, more cover, and being a bit wider. That'll fix a lot of the current issues we have. Lastly, I just have a few minor things I want to talk about. These are all things that don't impact the experience too much, but if all these were fixed, it'd be a lot nicer. First up, you still can't turn off music, which kind of sucks because you either play with no sound or you play with music on. There are still no lobby codes, meaning you have to add every single person you want to play with for open or private battles. Salmon Run doesn't have endless mode, which kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. You can't change weapons in between series matches. There are still game mode rotations for ranked, and we also have to deal with input delay, which is not too bad, but it's definitely there. Other than that, just minor bugs, and other than that, I think that's pretty much it. If Nintendo could implement all of these, I genuinely think we could get as close as possible to being a perfect game. And which ones do you guys think they could pull off? Personally, I think they could probably fix the maps and weapon balance, but realistically, I doubt they're going to do anything about the netcode. Let me know what you guys think, and if you enjoyed this, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'm trying to improve as a creator, so if you have any problems with the video or anything I said, just let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you all are doing well. See you in the next one.